This is a download from the outdoorstation.co.uk.
Number 303.
You're listening to the Rab TGO Challenge. Part 1.
The 2010 event was blessed with incredibly fine weather as the 300 or so participants made their way during the month of May from the west to the east coast of Scotland. For those not familiar with this event, it is one which is totally unique in that it isn't a race or a competition. Its sole objective is the same now as it was over 30 years ago when it first started, to foster good fellowship amongst walkers within the framework of a challenging 200-mile expedition. And that is about it. You can approach the trip in any way you like. There are those who carry everything and travel through remote high areas, not meeting others at all, and walkers who use local bed and breakfasts and hostels and keep to well-trodden, easy paths. Most people do something in between and make it as easy or as hard as they personally wish. Routes are submitted and vetted for safety purposes and suggestions, and a small team in control track people as they amble their way, making sure rescue and advice is always at hand should it ever be required. I have had the unenviable task of editing the audio material gathered en route by Andy and Shirley this year. Sadly, Rose and I didn't make it this time, and I hope I've compiled the material I do have in a way which is entertaining and informative. As you listen to this, it is worth keeping in mind that Andy enjoys a lightweight approach to his walking, and Shirley is, well, torn between stories of ghosts in haunted bothies and the finest of local foods. So her route was anything but direct to incorporate those interests. Walkers start on the west anywhere between Torridon and Ardrishaig and aim to finish somewhere between Arbroath and Fraserburgh on the east coast. Andy started at Dorney while Shirley set out from Oban. They both recorded a wide range of interviews with people they met along the way, some of whom I have names for and others I have yet to work out. However, by the time these podcasts are released, I'm hoping the show notes will contain all the missing details. So here we go. Let's just let the story naturally unfold as told by Andy and Shirley and those they meet on the Rab TGO Challenge 2010.
Well, it's another year and another TGO Challenge, and I've woken up on Thursday morning in the sleeper train which I picked up at Crewe, which is taking me on to Inverness. I've said this before, but it's worth saying it again. This is a wonderful way to travel, particularly when you wake up in the morning, open the curtains, and there in front of you are mountains, snow-capped mountains this morning, heather, bogs, forest, bit of sunshine creeping in there, blue sky beginning to emerge through. Absolutely fantastic. You feel your holiday has started already. This year's crossing starts at the village of Dorney on the west coast of Scotland, and then I should be wandering inland, hopefully over some high tops down into Glenafric, from Glenafric through the Balmacan forest, which seems to be one gigantic peat bog, up to Drumnadrochit, crossing over Loch Ness, having a prolonged walk through the Monolith this time into Aviemore, and then Aviemore through the Cairngorms to Bremar, Ballater, and onto the coast. And no doubt it'll be as exciting as ever, and lots of people to meet, including some of my mates who I think go on this sleeper. For those of you who like the sleeper service, it's as good as ever, although financial cutbacks have shown themselves so far. My coffee came this morning with just a single shortbread biscuit. All the other little goodies that we used to get seem to have disappeared. Anyhow, I'm here now. The journey started, and I really enjoy this day. It's a kind of nice, relaxed day before setting out on the big adventure tomorrow. So as we hit Inverness, take the train down to Dorney, which also connects up with Shield Bridge, I think. I'm sure to meet some people, and I know this evening at the Dorney Hotel there's a number of TGO podcast favourites in residence. So, party atmosphere tonight.
Well, hello, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and welcome to my audio diary of TGO Challenge 2010. I'm sitting here with 3 other people, so going around the table in turn. First of all, I have
Barbara Pears, the woman with the hairstyler.
Okay, and then secondly,
Kate Wood with husband.
And third but not least, the gaffer.
Tim Wood, the one and only.
Okay, so everybody's terribly excited. Tim and Kate, yes, apprehensive but excited. Tim and Kate and I got on the train at Southport. Well, in fact, they got on at Southport and I got on close to Southport about an hour or so ago. And we got a train up to Wigan, and then we got off the train... Oh no, we didn't. We got on the other side of the platform and a whole load of challenges suddenly started arriving. And so it's very much the sort of typical kind of getting on the train, going up to Glasgow, and new people getting on at every stop and having an opportunity to say hello to old friends at the moment. So we're all sitting around sort of chatting generally. So let me just ask Kate. Now, Kate, you were not on the challenge last year.
No, I wasn't.
But you've already done quite a very significant number of challenges. Do you want to tell us how many challenges you've done?
I've done 10. Hopefully this will be my 11th.
Fantastic. Well, I'm absolutely sure that it will. And has Tim done all of those with you?
Yes, everyone.
Okay, and Barbara...
Much to his credit.
Barbara, how many challenges have you done?
I've done 8. This is my 9th.
Okay, so, I mean, if I just ask Barbara to tell us which route she's taking this year, so where are you going from?
Oh, I'm doing a pensioners route this year from Oban, not starting till Saturday, taking your time and ending up at Tangleha, if I can get down to the beach. I've got to ask somebody about that yet.
That's a lovely
Can you get down to the beach?
Yes,
oh,
very
right.
easy and it's delightful.
Lovely, look forward to that. So I'm going with Team America, Louise and David Kiernan, and Will, their young nephew, a 21-year-old. He's one of the youngest of our challengers. Starting Saturday, giving the Americans, another day to get over their jet lag, and also because I couldn't actually find another day's walking out of this route.
Okay. And are you planning to go through Braemar in the middle, or...?
Of course, yes. We're hoping to have a good party. We're staying at Mar Lodge and then staggering into Braemar, going to have tea with the Queen on Sunday, as usual. She'd be very disappointed if we didn't call. And then heading off of Docks Road on Monday.
Right. Excellent. So does that mean that you're getting into Braemar on the Saturday?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Well, Saturday lunchtime, yes.
Good. So am I hope. Kate?
Shield Bridge.
Okay. And just talk us through your route, if you would.
Shield Bridge, Coogee, Fort Augustus, over the Corriaric, through to Ruthven.
Right.
Then through to Braemar, the Fairmount Road down to Tarfside, Northwater Bridge, and finishing at where?
Somewhere near St Cyrus.
Yes, St Cyrus.
Yes,
that's
fantastic.
it.
Okay. And what kind of weather are you hoping to have this year?
Well, according to the forecast, it's going to be snow and cold, lots of frosts.
Right. And do you have any preferred sort of weather for the challenge?
Dry, sunny, but not too hot.
Okay. Now, let me see if we can... now, let's come and have a little word with Tim. Now, Tim, are you the person carrying all the gear, or has Kate got all the gear in her very large rucksack?
No, I'm carrying... I'm not carrying very much. Kate's carrying the majority. She will actually probably manage mine later on.
That's what women are for, really, isn't it?
Women are there, yes.
Yes.
Followers.
Okay. So, you must have 1 or 2 things chucked into your pack. What have you got?
Yes, well, let's see. We've got... 2 days' food, the cooking equipment, the tent.
Right. What kind of tent have
I've
you
actually
got?
brought some shorts too, which is a mistake, I think.
Good heavens. Well, I brought shorts. All the best people have shorts. Yeah. But what kind of tent have you got?
Hillyberg 2-man.
Right. And what kind of rucksack have you got this year?
Go Light. Is it called a Go Light? No.
I think it is a Go Light. It's a new rucksack to you, isn't it?
It's a new rucksack, yeah. It's taken 4 pounds off the weight.
That's fantastic. And is it right that you've changed your boots as well, your shoes?
Yes, I've got Salomon lighter weight boots as well.
Okay. And
It cost a fortune, this time.
Well, yes, but I mean, it's all worth it, isn't it? Because you've been hoping, haven't you, to reduce the weight that you're carrying this year, because you've got a bit of a dodgy knee at the moment.
Yes, I have. I've got it strapped up. I've reduced the weight. I counted about 35 pounds last time. I'm down to about 28 now.
Gosh, so that's quite a significant reduction.
Well, we haven't not carrying quite as much food because we've sent food on.
Right, in parcels?
Yes,
Have you not normally done that in the past?
Yeah, we have, but we've really worked out where we're going to stop and have a meal. Before, we've just put it in, but this time, if we're going to have a meal at a certain place, we won't carry that food with us, you see.
Okay, sounds
so
like
we've worked it out as best we can to keep the weight down.
Is Kate the person in charge of the food?
Kate's in charge of everything. Women are, aren't they?
Okay, well they are.
Well, they think they are, but it's
to reason.
It's a male diplomatic attitude.
Yes.
See, I'm merely an assistant.
Well, that sounds entirely appropriate to me.
Food, yes.
Kate,
Well, that's Tim's prerogative.
Oh, well, now, Tim said that was your prerogative. He said you were in charge of the food. You were in charge of the food, he said.
Seemingly.
Yes. So what have you chosen to bring? What are you going to have?
Well, breakfast will be porridge.
Okay.
Chocolate biscuit middle of the morning.
Right.
Soup, cheese,
at lunch.
Bread and cheese lunchtime.
Right.
With another chocolate biscuit. Another chocolate biscuit. This is with Tim in mind.
Yes.
Mid-afternoon.
Right.
Dinner, gourmet.
Right. Delicious.
Soup starter with bread.
Wow.
Pasta, cheese sauce. What are those Krispies? Rice Krispies with custard.
Wow.
And a chocolate biscuit to go to sleep with a
fantastic.
chocolate drink.
Gosh, that's vast quantities of food.
Usually gets us through.
That's fantastic. It sounds as though you're carrying more food for one day than I'm carrying almost for the entire trip.
Well, this is with Tim in mind, of course, as you would appreciate.
Well, yes.
Knowing Tim.
But what kind of bread are you taking?
Wholemeal with seed.
Okay, so is it taking up quite a lot of space in your pack?
It does rather, but I'm sure it'll be squashed down to nothing by the time it comes to eating
Oh,
it.
fantastic.
Tins of Heinz beans seem to take up a lot of space.
Yes. Well, I hope that all the cans of the Heinz beans are in Tim's pack.
Sure of that.
Yes. Barbara, what kind of food are you planning to eat?
Whatever I buy along the way.
I mean,
don't count them.
Tell us about, because you don't take a tent, you do the B&B instead, so tell us, have you managed to find anywhere that sounds particularly interesting this year, or what sort of places have you managed to book into?
I'm looking forward to Bridge of Gar, which has reopened, and they've got a licence, which I had to establish before I booked, obviously. Oh, gosh, I need something for stress. I get very stressed, very stressed. And I believe Allister Gardens, I'm there the next night.
Right.
Sounds really interesting. I believe the gardens are fantastic, and so is the view. And of course, Mar Lodge, I haven't been there before, so really looking forward to Mar Lodge. Yeah, Mar Lodge, yeah. So then there's Braemar Youth Hostel, and then Clover, which is always great fun, you know, the Clover Inn. And there you go, that's me.
And what sort of thing will you be taking for lunches?
Lunches, anything I can get hold of. Bread, bit of food, apricots, whatever. I'll eat anything. I'm a war child, don't forget.
All right then. Well, I can't think of anything else to ask about just at the moment, and I'm sort of coping with the fact that I realised as we left the station at Wigan that I'd left my poles at home. So Kate's just reminded me that I need to give some thought to trying to organise perhaps to get somebody to send them up to me. So I think we'll finish that for now, and I'll go and have a little think about my poles and nibble on a sandwich. So for now, it's goodbye from me. It's 9:30, still on the train bound towards Glasgow, and I've come along to have a chat with 3 challengers I haven't met before.
We're going from Mallock.
Oh, right, okay.
We're going from Mallock.
Okay. How many challenges have you done?
This will be my 4th, and Graham and Ian are far more.
Well, this is my 10th.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
I haven't done it yet.
Well, no, but I've no doubt you will, but that's great.
I've done 15.
Oh, my God. So I'm talking here with a legend, a soon-to-be legend, and a legend in the making, or a legend in training.
I think so.
So that's pretty...
He's already talking about his 10th one.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And
He'll be doing it all on his own.
So how many have you done as a group, the 3 of you?
4 for me. This will be my 4th with these 2, yeah.
So, okay, so you're starting at Mallaig, and
Yeah.
what's your route then?
Basically, it's not a complicated route. No, do you mean exactly?
Oh, no.
We're going over the
broad terms.
Manmy Dale, down to Sully's Bothy,
Right.
then up the Mamna Clochhead to Glendessery,
Right.
then through cut left over into Glenkingy,
Right.
via Tom Doon, Invergarry, then cut across in Glenbuck through to the Corriaric, through the Corriaric, Melgarve, so on, to Canusi, and then basically we're not doing a high route anyway because we've got a few injuries, so we're going through to Glenfeshie, Ruigetzik and Braemar.
Oh, Braemar, excellent. For the middle Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, good. See you there.
And also, hopefully, if we're up in time. And then we're supposed to be going then north to Ballater and then Mount Keane, etc., through Tarfside, Edsel and so on.
Another thing I'm always thinking about, of course, is food. So, I mean, just tell us briefly what sort of what provisions are you taking? Dried food or what?
In my case, well, over the years I've tried all the different ones. You know the real food that you just heat up. Which is particularly heavy but good.
Yeah.
Tried the freeze-dried, but they're all expensive. This year I haven't bothered. For the first time ever, I'm just taking packs of noodles and stuff to supplement that, a few spices and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's basically noodles, but with other things like cereal bars, cheese, stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's quite simple for that, but
How about you?
Well, it's very similar. Only I went and bought the freeze-dried, bought 5 of them, but noodles and cheese and stuff like that, and I forgot to put the OXO cubes in.
Well, you can get some at Glasgow.
Well, of course I can, yes. Yeah. Basically, that's the sort of food.
Right, very good. And how about you?
Well, similar to what Graham's saying, but the other side of the coin as well is, if we hit a town or whatever, we'll stay in a B&B. People do it in different ways, but the way we look at it is, it's always nice to have a shower and
absolutely, it's the way
get
I look at it too.
Yes. So we'll do some camping, some eating out, and maybe hit a B&B now and again.
Yeah, sounds like
you do, of course, even if you're not B&B and you say you find some licensed premises, you can always get a bar meal, can't you?
Yes.
That's the way I found it anyway, for me personally.
Yep.
Because it's one thing to use, sweets to get a sugar rush and some energy, but one of the biggest things you've got to watch out for is dehydration from the salts.
Yes.
So you always need to get plenty of salts back into
Well, you need to get carbo loading on the beers, it seems to me. This is the approach that I adopt. It's a medicinal thing, really, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Thank you all again for being kind enough to do that. And I think I'm going to go and have a sandwich now, and then go and pester some other people. Right.
Well, I'm on the bus now from Inverness. That's going to connect to all manner of points, including Dorney, where I'm starting from, and Shieldbridge, where my mate George is from. George, who's famous to many of you as London backpacker, fellow blogger. George, first-time challenge, mixture of excitement and trepidation, I guess.
Yeah, more trepidation than excitement at the moment.
And how have you planned your route?
How? Straight line east. that was the easiest way. I didn't want to do any ups and downs, so it's more or less going east all the way.
Well, you'll have quite a bit of company, I guess. Is this something you've been thinking about doing for a while?
Yeah, probably about 3 years now. Didn't get on last year, so obviously that's why I managed to get on this year. And the year before I did think about it, but I didn't actually apply. So yeah, I blame Bob and you.
Yeah, well, because Bob isn't here this time, but he'll be putting these podcasts together in the usual efficient Cartwright manner. But as for the moment, we can say what we like about him, and there's nothing he can do about it. You're quite an early aficionado of lightweight backpacking, aren't you? So what kind of gear have you got this time?
Well, got to go like Pinnacle pack. I'm still using my heavy 2 kilo tent, but it's the tent I like, so that's the one I use. And then the rest of the stuff is just, same lightweight stuff that most people are using.
Yeah, your kit always feels light until you put the food in it, isn't it? And then it whatever your base weight is, it seems to be too heavy.
Yeah, 4 days worth of food is just it throws it up, and you just can't seem to keep the food weight down. I think I've got about, it must be about 8 pounds in food, so putting that in, it just changes the whole dynamic of the pack.
Yeah, very, very much so. Now, I often think I've got problems, really, as a hill walker being based in Birmingham, but for somebody based in London, preparation and training must be quite difficult.
Yeah, because there's no hills, and there's not a lot of walking for where I am, but I've been out 3 days a week. I walk to work, so that was 6 miles each day, so 18 miles a week. That's helped. I met up with Mick and Gal as they were doing their end-to-end walk, and I put in, I think, about a 17-mile day with them. So that's the amount of training I've done. So I'm just hoping that it works and helps.
Well, I'm sure it will. Well, look, we'll catch up later, most probably in Braemar, but you'll love it, and just take it steady. Have a great crossing.
Yeah, I will do, and slow and steady. I think that's me. So I'm looking forward to it. I will do. Once I get going tomorrow, then that'll be it. I'll feel okay then.
What route are you proposing to take this year?
Well, we're going to start from Malay.
Okay.
Where we met.
We met.
That's right. That's right. And we went there a few years ago, but the first time we did the beginning of this route from Malay, we're going to Barrisdale 14 years ago. So it's sort of a new route all over again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after that, where are you going then?
After Barrisdale, we plan to camp by Loch Coich.
Okay.
And on to Tom Doon and Invergary, and I told these folks it's going to be a crowded route.
Oh, wow.
Lots of people on the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sounded very similar.
We're going to be at the base of Gleoric.
Right.
Yeah, that's where we're going to camp.
And after that, we are going up to Caledonian Canal to Port Augustus.
Yeah, but before that, we go to Tom Doon.
I said,
are you staying at the hotel there?
Yes, we are.
Right.
Yes, we are. And then Fort Augustus. Yeah.
And where are you staying in Fort Augustus?
We're not sure.
Because I remember, of course, when on the year that we met, which was 2006, we were all in Fort Augustus then, and we were at the same hotel, which was
the Caledonian.
Yes,
and it was nice.
It was lovely.
And we might end up there.
Yes,
we just
playing it by ear.
A lot by ear because we know our way there.
Yeah.
We'll see how we feel when we get through the canal. That the little hotel at Invergary.
Yes.
And we might stop there, but if not, we'll push on to Port Augustus.
Yeah.
And then we'll find we might be at the hotel again.
Well, it's nice to be flexible, really, isn't it? And
yes,
not
it
to
is.
feel the need to tie yourself down to particular places in advance.
Right.
So just remind me, how many challenges have you already done?
Well, as you probably know, this is my 14th.
Okay.
And Phyllis is 13th.
Yep.
But we would have had 2 more.
Yes.
But for 2 years running, not last year, but the previous 2, Phyllis got injured on her knee, and then my knee was injured, and I had to be rescued.
Yes.
But the RAF rescued me. You can't imagine how efficient those guys were.
Well, they were really good.
If I had to think about efficiency, they're the example.
Right.
Oh,
were
yeah.
they reassuring?
Oh, very much so. Then they asked my age, and they said, "What are you doing up here?" No, but it was very important for anybody who's listening to this.
Yeah.
Because if you get picked up, they will ask you, do you have a tent? Do you have any food? And so on. Were you prepared? And of course, I had all those things.
Yeah.
And
any one of us could be unlucky. I mean, if we've not made preparations, then we're at fault. But the best prepared person in the world could be unlucky.
Of course.
There's nothing you can do about that, is there?
Right.
Well, it happened that the year that I had to be taken back to the control. So I was there when Alvar had to say, should we organize a rescue?
Right.
And then he looks down at me over his glasses, so I knew it was him.
Oh, no.
It was 9 days.
What went through your head?
What concerned me was we've made such a mess of it. We look forward to this all year, and here the both of us, but they know me in the hospital.
Very unlucky.
When we got to the hospital and they had to do something to my cast, they said, what's your name? I told them, do you still live at this address? You must really like us here. So I don't want them to know me anymore. No, we say to each other all the time, no falling, no falling.
Well, I think that the two of you had all of your bad luck in one unfortunate
yeah,
and there will be no more bad luck in the future.
No more.
And you'll go on and do another 10 challenges without any further unpleasant incident, I'm sure. So, well, thank you very much, both of you. Have a fantastic challenge. There will be no more, I can guarantee, no more bad luck. You've had all of that already.
Yeah, I hope so.
Have a great time, and I look forward to seeing both of you in Braemar.
Good talking with you.
Then.
Last year I did half the challenge wearing Crocs.
Really? Seriously?
Seriously.
And so what kind of ground was that? And tell me, because I've heard other people saying that.
Well, I used to wear boots in the hills and change into trainers when I hit Land Rover tracks. But when I discovered these things, I walked up to Callata from Braemar in a pair of these with no socks on. That's 6 miles, and I thought, hey, these are pretty cool. Yep. But you only get one big walk out of them, because at the moment the foam is quite firm.
Yeah.
But after a challenge, underneath the sole, it's all kind of soft and puffy, and you can feel everything through it. So I've got more of these at home that look good, but you feel every stone through them. But I just got these yesterday. That's why the colour, because it's what I could get. But they're terrific.
I mean, it's fantastic because I've got Crocs. I didn't bring them this time simply because I wanted to see if I could get something that was as light but easier to squish down, because, of course, you can't squish down Crocs to put them in your pack.
No, but you can just hang them on the side.
You can, but I've ordered some Innovate things. Innovate Recolites they are.
Is that what you're wearing just now?
No, these are Innovates too. These are Terrox, but the Recolites are like a sandal sort of thing. So anyway, I'll see.
Oh, I know the sort of
I mean, they're mainly for wearing in the evening and around town, when I'm sort of doing all that exciting stuff around town in Braemar. But I hope that I might... Oh, I'm walking in these. Yeah, I'm walking in the Terrox. But what I'm thinking is that, if we get the weather, I want to see what it's like to walk in the Recolites, and the sandally things. Because Martin over there has told me he also walks in Crocs and has found it really good.
Mm-hmm. Have you got time to hear this story?
Yes, I'd love to hear it.
I'm actually trying to cobble a book together, and it's based on all the absurd things that have happened to me.
Right.
All my adventures, right?
Right.
And
that'll be a thick book.
On one occasion we went up, a friend of mine, it was our last Monroe, and Bernard and I, my pal, we went to the campsite and said, sorry, we've no more room. And we pleaded to get into the campsite, and she wouldn't let us in. Well, we went and we climbed this last Monroe with this lassie, and then we went to camp. We discovered that after all that arguing, we hadn't brought a tent with us. You see what I mean about the absurdities?
Well, I'm looking forward to that book that you say that you're writing. Have you actually started writing it yet, then?
I'm still compiling it, right? Because as I'm compiling it, other things are happening.
Keep coming to mind.
And I always carry a wee notebook, old-fashioned.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you hear funnies, one-liners and stuff like that. But I've got it kind of mapped out. It's a bit like the challenge route, I know I've got different chapters.
A movable feast.
Aye.
Well, thank you very much indeed for having a chat
for giving
telling
me a
us the
sneak
story.
preview.
Yeah, bloody hell, excellent.
It's 7:15 on the night before the challenge. I finally got to the Dorney hotel, and I keep being told there are 30 challengers here. Where they are, I have no idea. Challengers have a reputation for being certainly boisterous, particularly in and around bars. The only one I've found at the moment is my old mate Phil Turner.
I'm particularly boisterous, as you know.
Yeah, it's that boisterous mode at the moment. So, second challenge, came back again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. I had a great time on the first one, so I thought I'd do it again.
And as the route kind of changed, because last time you went through very quickly, didn't you? Difficult getting time away from work.
Yeah, no, and last year I thought, well, this is how long it would take me to do the route, so why should I sort of dilly-dally along the way? And I actually missed out on a lot of the social element to it. Certainly in Braemar, I left it a day early, and I ended up finishing on the Tuesday, and it was kind of, well, it's your certificate, see you later. And it was a bit of an anticlimax. So this year I'm taking it a bit slower and going through some more of the flesh pots of the challenge.
These flesh pots of the challenge, we haven't heard that phrase for a bit, but lots of people listen to these podcasts who haven't done the challenge before. So just describe to us the pleasures of a challenge flesh pot, and what on earth can you expect?
Yes, I suppose flesh is a bit relative, really, isn't it? So obviously there's Braemar's a popular one where the challenge seems to inhabit it for the entire weekend and then take over the Fife Arms. And then there's obviously the campsite and the youth hostel, and it all becomes a bit of sort of a challenge mini camp. And then obviously after that there's Tarfside, which I've not actually experienced before, but I've read a lot about, where you camp on the lawn and the volunteers look after you, and it sounds like a great place to go. And I'm going to say flesh pot, I'm not talking sort of debauchery and, well, maybe I am. Anyway, not too much debauchery and boisterousness.
I arrived here this afternoon with two first-timers, one of whom said to me, he said, some people seem to treat this as a 2-week-long pub crawl, and of course some of them do, of course.
That's an outrageous accusation.
Anyway, now gear. Let's talk about gear, because you are carrying the same lightweight shelter as myself, which is the Mountain Laurel Duo Mid, Cuban fibre, huge tarp for about 300 grams. So two of us carrying those, a bit unusual, but we reckon there are going to be more. This probably is going to be the lightest weight challenge yet, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see it. Assuming everyone camps in Braemar, it could be quite an interesting little sort of lightweight trade show there, really. And certainly I know there's other than us, there's certainly a few more duo mids. I think there's certainly another Cuban duo mid, so it'd be really good to see sort of a little Mountain Laurel Designs display there. Certainly Stephen Horner's got his Trail Star as well, which is a great shelter as well, so looking forward to seeing them all set up.
The duo mid is a single skin tent. It doesn't have a floor in it. Any trepidation about spending 2 weeks in the Highlands weather in such a basic shelter?
No, I mean, obviously before I brought it here, I did a lot of tests with it. I took it out and I sort of tried configurations, and you just got to be selective about where you camp. I can't imagine anyone ever camps in a puddle intentionally, or was ever in a situation where if it does get flooded they can't move or whatever. It's really,
not unless they've had a good night in the flesh pot.
Well, this is exactly it, and then you're just going to be a bit wet, and then it's not too much of an issue anyway.
There was a guy a couple of years ago, I swear this is true, I saw his Acto had been pitched, so part of it was leaning over the side of a road.
That was you, wasn't it, Andy?
No, it wasn't. But no reservations at all with that. There's maybe single skin tents are pretty robust and very light.
Yeah, and obviously everyone always mentions condensation straight off when you say single skin. I'm going to get wet. I mean, condensation happens in every tent. It's just in a...
Yes, I mean, there's something like the Acto double skin tent, that's famous for its condensation.
Yeah, no, it's just and the beauty of the Duomid is it's so cavernous, you just don't touch it, and also it tends to, the steep sides ensure that it runs down to the ground and drips onto the ground quite nicely. There's no, it's not really an issue for me, and it's got good ventilation. You can pitch it a little bit higher off the ground. It's really not an issue, the condensation.
Okay, now this year you've really cracked on with your blog, and as a result of that, you've had all kinds of manufacturers getting in touch with you, and I think you're trialling some new gear out this year. So take us through some of the highlights of your other gear kit list.
Okay, well I've got some New Balance shoes that I'm trying out there. I think the MR 910 OR, which are a non-Gore-Tex trail running shoe. They're only marginally heavier than my Terox, which I took last year, but they've got significantly more cushioning. So underfoot, I found that I'm quite heavy-footed, so I found that the Terox there's a little bit of pounding going on there, certainly on the road walking, whereas these have got a little bit more protection in that area, and I really like them so far. They've not had a massive test yet, so this will certainly be a good test. And I'm also wearing the Go Light Tumalo jacket, which uses the new Pertex Storm fabric, which is very, very interesting stuff. It's almost a similar outer coating to your Paramo Third Element, actually. It's a very similar kind of outer fabric feel. It's kind of a matte finish, not very crinkly, and I'm really, really, really pleased with that so far. It's fully featured. It's got all the bits, pit zips, the full hood and everything. So looking at the weather, it's going to get a good test, I think.
Yes, I wondered if that was one of the excuses, as there's 30 hardened challengers have turned up, taken one look outside and gone straight to bed for 2 weeks. It looks as if it's going to be a traditional Scottish crossing.
Yeah, I think actually what it is people are warming up. They're having a nap ready for the night's revelry. I think that's what it is. They're having a little nap and getting into the challenge spirit.
Well, it's been quite drizzly and showery today, and I think that's the kind of weather that we can expect. Although maybe with some chance of it brightening up towards the end of the weekend.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. I think tomorrow's going to be particularly bad. There's talk of snow even on the slightly higher ground. There's no snow in hills at the moment, so who knows what's going to happen really.
And we don't come here for the weather. Us hardened challengers expect the worst, but certainly look at it as it's really quite funny, isn't it? You sit there thinking, "Ooh," go outside, "Ooh, it's cold and horrible," and think, well, tomorrow morning we'll be up and raring to go. The cold and the wind and the driving rain will have no impact on us at all.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, Phil, we'll have a good trip, and we might actually bump into each other quite a lot on this crossing, so and we can compare gear and stuff. Anyway, we'll sit down and look forward to enjoying our venison casseroles here and hopefully somebody else will join us, because perhaps this might be the smallest challenge on record.
Yeah, maybe not as melee, yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you on the other side.
Well, it's almost the end of the day of travelling. It's 10:30 and I'm sitting on the wall outside the youth hostel at Oban. Arrived at about 3:30 this afternoon after quite a pleasant train journey. Really nice to meet up with a lot of old friends and to meet some new people. And then made my way via Waterstones, where I bought a book, to the youth hostel and dumped my kit and went back into town. Had a very pleasant evening. I met up with Barbara Peers again, and properly met the 3 people that she's walking with, all the way from the United States. There's Louise and David, who are brother and sister, and their nephew Will. And Barbara is walking with Louise and David and Will, and they're not actually setting out until Saturday, and so they're going to spend tomorrow sort of consolidating, because the others are still jet-lagged, I suppose, having flown over from the States only recently. So anyway, I'll see them, I think, in the morning, but I'm planning to set out, hopefully at about, 9, 9:30. I'm going to Tainault tomorrow. I'll have to check my little schedule, but I think it's about 12 miles. It's mainly road walking. That's a bit of a pain, but it's what had to be done in order to get me onto the route that I want to take, and so I'll just get the road walk out of the way, and hopefully after that there'll be very little road walking in the 2 weeks that lie ahead of me. It's absolutely gorgeous where I'm sitting at the moment. It's a very still evening. We had beautiful sunshine this morning, and then as we arrived in Oban, the weather had closed in a little and it was claggy and it began to rain. But the rain blew off and we had some more sunshine, and now it's settled into a cold, clear evening. And I can see the lights of the many buildings on the other side of the harbour reflected in the water. It's very pretty, sort of whites and oranges, blues, greens and yellows, and I can see shadows between here and the harbour where there are boats moored. Earlier on we watched a cormorant diving for fish, and that was very interesting because I'd never actually seen that before. So anyway, it's very beautiful, and I'm just going to sit out here and take in the sight for 5 minutes or so, and then I'll go in. There's one more person in the dormitory that I'm using, and she unfortunately is already asleep, but I think she won't be sleeping for much longer when I go back in, because the door's very noisy and I don't think it's going to be possible for me not to disturb her. Anyway, I'll be as quiet as I can, and I hope to sleep well, read a little bit of my new book, wake up probably 7:30, something like that, and get out of bed and start repacking my things, which always takes me ages. So, well, there we are. It's been an interesting first day, and I feel a little apprehensive, really, about tomorrow, because although this is going to be my 4th challenge, it's, it'll be the first time in the last 3 that I've actually been setting off all alone into the wilds, because last time I was walking with people that I knew on the first day, and the time before that I very quickly met some people having left from Mallaig at the pub after the ferry ride, and after that I didn't really do a great deal of walking on my own. So this is something I haven't done since 2005 really on the challenge. And since I hope to have a series of haunted bothies ahead of me, I confess I am actually feeling a little apprehensive, but excited of course at the same time. All right, well, we'll call it a day for now, and I will speak to you again in the morning. So for now, it's good night.
Improvement in temperatures as we head into the weekend, and it's not such a chilly start as we've had in recent days. It is cloudy and rather damp for most of us though, with some patchy mist affecting western parts and the last of the overnight rain lingering along the east coast. But we'll see things brightening through the morning as that rain clears. Some sunshine will develop, but that'll spark off a fair number of showers, and some of them will be heavy. Temperatures in Edinburgh will peak at 15 Celsius, that's 59 Fahrenheit. It'll be 13 or 14 for most, so slightly up on yesterday, but still only 9 Celsius in Shetland with a fresh southerly breeze. Light winds elsewhere.
It's day one of the Challenge 2010, and at the Youth Hostel in Oban. It's, according to my watch, 7 minutes past 8 in the morning. But anyway, I'm sitting at a table with 3 challengers, sitting looking excited and desperately keen to get on with the day ahead. So if I can just ask you first of all, let me ask you first of all how many challenges you've done before. Chris, I think this is your first challenge.
This is my first one. Last year my husband did it, and I was helping at Tarfside, and it was the camaraderie and everything that made me feel, I can still put one foot in front of the other, I'd have a go.
Yeah, well, I must thank you now immediately, because I was one of those many hundreds of people that went through Tarfside last year and benefited. Oh, really? Oh, gosh, that's disconcerting. Well, thank you for that, because it was very cold when I got to Tarfside, and I very much appreciated a cup of tea and biscuits. So, okay, so this is your first, then. Well, best of luck with it. And
thank you.
Yes, my second. I'm Chris's husband, and after last year I wondered whether I'd bother again, because it was tough, but very pleasurable, but very tough also. And then Chris said that she wanted to do it, so that decided we're back again.
And Carl, I think you've actually done quite a lot.
Well, this is my 8th, and hopefully I shall get across, because I've had an ankle fusion 8 months ago, and this is a big test for me. I done my first one in '86, wow. So I've spread them out over the years, and I'm looking forward to it and hoping, I'm really going to get across.
And how is your ankle feeling so far?
My ankle is fantastic, but after this fusion, my knees have been playing up a little bit, but my ankle is unbelievable. John Donahue put me onto it because he had the same operation over a year ago, and I heard about it, and I spoke to him, and so I had it done. I couldn't walk 2 years ago. I couldn't walk, and now it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm really pleased.
I wish you all the very best
thank you.
With that.
We all have our problems as we get older. I'm carrying more pills than what Boots the chemist have got.
So, are the 3 of you walking together, or are you just sharing a breakfast table?
Well, we happened on each other yesterday on the train, and we have slightly different destinations tonight, so...
What's your plan today?
Well, we're going beyond Tainault, probably as far as Glen No, maybe at Glen Kindlass if we're feeling good, and wild camping there.
So how far do you expect to be walking today?
Well, about 16, yeah.
And Carl, what's your plan today?
Well, I'm only making for Tainault. I'm having an easy day today, the first day, to, just make sure I can walk all right. Then tomorrow, Kindlass, on to King's House, Bridge of Gower, Kinloch, Rannoch, Tamil Bridge, up the tilt, Ramar, and so on.
Fantastic. Sounds exciting.
It is. I mean, I've walked part of that way before, but not all of it. So, and I think I've picked a fairly sort of low-level route because of the circumstances. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And now that you're just about to start on your 8th, do you now have 10 challenges?
Oh, yes, yeah. This is the big challenge. Because when I started years ago, there was people who've started way after me, and one in particular, David Towers, he started after me, and he's on his 20th this time.
Amazing.
And yeah, lots of the challenges. So, and I thought to myself, I don't think I'd bother to do it, but I really enjoy it. And I think as the years go by, I'm more and more determined that I really enjoy it.
Did you say that you did your first in 1986?
86.
So how did you first come across the challenge?
Well, I heard about it in 84, and I applied to get on in 84 and got turned down. So a month after the challenge, I went across with a friend, a month after. So I went across Scotland in 84. In 86, we applied again and we got on. And ever since then, I've done it 2 or 3 times with a friend, but mainly the other times I've been solo. But you always meet up with people, have a day's walking with them, and like today, I'll probably walk to Tainholt and meet lots of people.
Yes.
And,
so tell me, I mean, what is it that keeps you coming back to the challenge? Why is it that you decided to come back for number 8?
Well, a lot of things. It is a challenge, and it's meeting people you haven't seen for maybe. There's a couple I haven't seen them for 16 years. I've missed them this morning because they've caught the ferry early. Bob and Marilyn Simpson.
Right.
I walked with them back in, when was it, 96?
Right.
We keep in touch, but I haven't seen them since. So I'm hoping to meet them at Montrose on a Thursday night for the dinner. And it's just things like that, to me it's getting out there in the great outdoors and the challenge of walking across.
I mean, people say that people talk about the camaraderie of the challenge and how it is like a big family, but I mean, I really feel that it is like that. It is, I see people from year to year, and I haven't seen them for 12 months, and it feels as though I'm meeting a long-lost friend, even though I've never met them at all before the previous May.
Yeah, and people are really helpful. I mean, if you're in trouble, there's always someone there who will help you out. That's what I've found in the past, and likewise, I've done the same for other people. And I say, it's like a big family group.
Well, so I'm still in the breakfast room at the Youth Hostel in Oban, and David's finished his breakfast. Will is still eating some toast, but they kindly agreed to have a word.
This will be my 3rd.
Okay. And have you walked across on your own or with somebody else?
First time with my sisters, second time with Barbara Piers, and Barbara's friend Doug.
Right.
And this year with my nephew Will from California, Barbara and my sister.
Hello, Will.
Hello.
Okay. And so you're all walking together. Clearly, I'm desperately trying to rehearse the map of Scotland in my mind and failing dismally. But I mean, obviously we're in Oban at the moment. Can you remember the rest of the route? Or?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. I just kind of look at the map as we go with our schedule and go from there. Yeah.
So when you came over to do the challenge, was it the first time you'd ever been in Scotland, or had you been here before?
Yes, no, that was my first time.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you think of it then? What do you make of it?
I swore I would never do it again. Yeah. Both times I said I'd never come back, and here I am with the 3rd time. So they say that happens. I didn't believe it, but yeah.
And so what was it that you found so off-putting? I suspect probably all the things that I also found off-putting, but tell me.
Yeah, just the pain, the work, the effort that goes into it, and but it is exactly what they say it is, a great challenge.
So you're from New York. Is that New York City or opposite?
No, the opposite end of New York State, Buffalo, Western New York.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what kind of scenery, what's it look like over there then? Is it flat or is it
a little bit of everything. We've got, it's nothing like New York City. We always differentiate when people say, oh, you're from New York. It's more rural, a lot of farmland. City in Buffalo, and Niagara Falls is a half hour away, so...
And do you do a lot of walking over there?
None.
Right. It's funny, actually, the number of people who I think don't normally walk, but then they'll come on the challenge once a year and do all the walking all at the same time.
Well, that was most of the people that had asked me my first time. They asked what was my hiking extent back home, and I said, well, I never had. And they just thought that was unusual, taking off a challenge like this for my first time walking. So.
But all the more kudos to you for getting across.
Oh, well,
How did you go about choosing your kit? You know, the shoes and tents and clothing and stuff. How did you know what to go for?
Through my sister, who initially went through Lou and Phyllis Borwit, who are legends of their own and on the challenge, and they gave her guidance. She passed it on to me, and we went from there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, Will, you finished your toast now. So, how'd you do?
Did well.
Good.
Tastes good.
Okay, and you come from?
California.
All right then. What part of California are you from?
From Northern California, near Berkeley, and I'm studying in Los Angeles currently.
Okay, what are you studying?
The classics.
Oh, really? Classics? My goodness. What, as in the languages?
Yes, as in languages. Concentration on Greek and Latin.
So is this your first time in Scotland?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so you come along because your aunt and uncle do it, and they've been telling you challenge stories for years?
Yes, they have.
And what sort of things they've been telling you?
Just mostly on how hard it is and how much they never want to come back, and then every year how excited they are to come back.
Right.
And yeah, the cyclical nature of it is quite enticing, and so here I am.
Right. And what do you think of it so far?
So far it's good. It's today's our first rest day. First day of our trip is our rest day, oddly enough. So far it's very easy going.
Okay. And when did you actually fly over? Because it's Friday now, isn't it? Friday now? It's Friday. It is. When did you?
Flew over, arrived on Wednesday.
Okay. So you're still a little bit jet lagged then, I should imagine, the three of you.
Yeah. If I am, I can't really feel it much.
Well, it's lunchtime on day one, and the weather's been rather spectacular this morning. We woke up to sunshine and blue sky, and as we've climbed up this little glen, on our way towards more variously Iron Lodge or Glen Affric or Loch Mulladock, as we've climbed up, we had a few showers, but we've stopped now in a nice piece of woodland, and sun's shining, birds are twittering, which you maybe can hear. Cuckoos are out, and there's a little band of us here. Angus, you were with us last night, and where were you off to today?
I'm off to Loch Mulladock, just try and get as far down the loch as I can, and make it a wee bit easier for myself tomorrow. But that's the theory, it might not work that way.
It's a gentle, low-level, nice amble this year.
Just an amble, yeah. Just the muscles are telling me that it's a bit more than that, though.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And how many crossings have you done there?
This will be my 11th.
Have you started here before?
I've passed through here before from Plockton, but it's the first time I've actually started in Dorney.
Okay.
Nice memories.
Yeah. Now, as we speak, two of our old favourites have turned up, Lee and Tony, and we're all having a great time because I have to describe it as like a kind of farm belt kissing gate through which it is impossible to get with a backpack. So we're going to sit and watch these two have as much fun as we did. I'm still walking with Phil Turner, who's with me. Phil, not a bad day's start for first day?
No, it's a lot better than last year. Just a few showers and the sun's been coming out. It kind of started raining when I put my sunscreen on, so there's a lesson to be learned there. So I'm never going to put my sunscreen on ever again, and it'll be sunny for the entire journey.
Yeah, it's a lovely walk now. And blow me down, they've done it in one. Have you been this way before, you lads?
Not myself, no. Tony has.
This is the famous Lee Wells, a media star and fan of backpackinglight.co, and Tony.
Yeah. Hiya. Got all my own records. Yeah.
Where are you going this year?
We're heading to St Sora's just for a change.
Oh, one of the nice things about this is that people plot all these various alternatives to finish. And I was talking to Tony last year about this, and I said, well, each year I said I'm going to finish somewhere, and I've only ever finished at St Cyrus. And you said to me, well, I've always finished at St Cyrus.
This time I'm finishing when I put on my route sheet, St Cyrus. So there's no confusion.
So give us a highlight of the route this year. Are you going the same route together all the time, or are you splitting up?
No, same route, yes. Yeah. Start to finish, yeah. He's got to put up with me all the way.
Yeah. And where you off to from here?
We're going to Iron Lodge. Just about 5 clicks on from there, there's a loch. We're going to camp up there. Maybe about 5 o'clock if we're lucky.
Right. And crossing Drumnadrocket on Monday?
Yes, yeah, she'll be there for some beer and another more beer and food. And
Angus, you too?
What?
Drum rocket on Monday?
I think Sunday if I make my targets, but Monday's a possibility.
Well, it looks as if there's going to be a party in Drum the Docket at lunchtime there, outside of the pub. So let's hope this weather stays. The weather forecast is good. It's getting better, and we've been watching some mist rolling in over the high hills there, but it doesn't look as if it's going to present us much of a problem. And it's actually quite warm as well. So I'm almost tempted to say this is perfect challenge weather, but I don't suppose I should really. Anyway, we'll get our sandwiches out and we'll leave you to it, and we'll speak no doubt later in the day, hopefully from some high, remote, beautiful wild camp spot.
I'm just going to sort of go around the table and ask people what kind of days they've had. So I'll start here because you kind of heard from Charlie and me earlier on, but Roy is going to tell you about the day that he has had.
Absolutely fantastic day. Weather has been absolutely brilliant. Really good company. And may it continue for the rest of the challenge.
Absolutely right. Couldn't have been a better start. Nothing like starting from sort of Torridon last year, where the sort of rain was coming down in steroids and it was all grey and horrible and looked like it was going to have lightning any moment. But so what's the rest of your route? What are you proposing to do?
Glen Kinglass,
yes.
Gorton Bothy,
yes.
Dalwhinnie, Glenfeshie,
yes.
Braemar,
yes.
rest day in Braemar on Sunday,
right.
Shirley and Mark, Tarfside,
Our route is almost the same.
Tarfside, and after Tarfside we're undecided.
Okay. And so, Bill, are you walking with Roy all the way across?
I'm walking with Joe all the way across. This time last year I was back in Fort William with a very bad leg, so if you're listening to this, Roger, you'll realise how important it is to me. I'm at Tainault and managed the first day, so hope to see you in Montrose in about 12 days' time.
So, Charlie, as you told us earlier on today, this is your first challenge, the first of many we all hope and confidently expect. So let us know what you think as a sort of first-time challenger, what you've made of your first day.
Well, it's been a bit unnerving so far. I was walking along the road minding my own business when I was overtaken by a mad woman. But I haven't stopped laughing since, so that's okay. Yep, the omens are good so far. My shoulders are aching, my feet are sore. Job done, yeah.
Sorted.
Fairly confident that this will last the entire fortnight.
Well, I noticed actually looking at you now as you're talking to the dictaphone that you've caught the sun today, and I'm not sure whether I have, but certainly you have. You've definitely caught the sun.
Well, actually, I caught the sun in Norfolk, actually, about 2 weeks ago, when I walked the Norfolk Coastal Path.
Wow, gosh. Tell us about that. How long did that take? How far is it? And did you do the whole thing?
It's about 50 miles from Hunstanton to Cromer.
Oh, okay.
Took me 3 days.
Right.
The sun was shining, the wind was blowing, and I got well burnt.
And did you finish with a crab at Cromer?
Of course.
Right. And how nice was that crab?
Well, what can you say about Cromer Crag?
Well,
it is absolutely brilliant.
Well, tell me, you know what, I'm just obsessed with food and I'm actually hungry at the moment, so it's particularly desperate. So tell me how the Cromer crab was prepared.
Well, the local fishermen catch the crab,
yes.
They take it back, they take all the nasty bits out and put it in a shell, and you can have it with a lovely salad, and it's absolutely fantastic, with a nice bit of brown wholemeal bread and a little bit of butter.
Really nice butter.
And it's absolutely fantastic. Right. You can't beat Cromer crab.
No, it is fantastic. Well, I wish there was a Cromer crab here for me to eat tonight. Well, sadly there isn't, but there is a very extensive menu, and I had a look at the menu earlier on, and it was so delicious that I couldn't decide, so that's why I decided to go to the shop instead, and I can look at the menu again soon. We'll finish for now, and we'll sit around and drink a little bit more beer.
It's the end of day one now, and we've made camp in the most stunning location, and better even than we thought it would be. I'll just describe it to you. First of all, the sun is shining, the sky is blue and cloudy. We're at the side of a stream that's coming down from a quarry which we were going to aim for, but we've found a nice spot a bit lower down. We've got mountains all around us. There's some with snow on, and I don't know, just less than a quarter of a mile away is the start of a reasonably gentle climb up to the ridge of Munros that Phil, who's still with me, he's pointing at a name. That's no use, Phil. I can't pronounce that. Anyway, these are a ridge of mountains, or Munros, that run above the Albeit Glen Affric Youth Hostel. And so, perfectly positioned for tomorrow, and we can see little patches of snow up there, but nothing that looks as if it's going to give us any difficulties. The two Duramid tents are almost perfectly pitched. Running water nearby. Has to be said, we've been looking for a campsite for quite a while because the ground is pretty boggy, but we've just found the best, I think, dry spot. And as day ones go, this has been better, I think, than anybody expected, Phil.
Absolutely, yeah. And the weather was looking a bit negative, certainly last night when the rain came in, and this morning when it was a bit of a downpour, and there was jackets on, jackets off moments apart from those in Paramo. And yeah, it just got brighter and brighter, really. And then I put the sunscreen on, and it started raining again, and then it stopped raining, and it's been really, really nice. I'm really, really pleased so far.
Days like this, you realise you don't have to work into this. You're just absolutely right bang in the middle of it. We've chosen to go a bit higher than most people did today, and I think it was really worth it in terms of campsite spots. Lee and Tony strolled on a little bit further down the path, and we climbed up a pretty steep hill, and I reminded myself that I'm now getting quite a bit older than Phil. As he zipped up ahead, we met an old fella. I think he was on the challenge, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And he'd been this way, 20 years before, he said, and he'd done it all in one go, but he was regretting it a little, and he hasn't followed us up, so that's the joy of something like this. You're having a hard day, you change your route, basically, as long as you've got your maps with you and your wits about you, but this is just absolutely perfect. And I say we're perfectly positioned now for this climb up to this ridge of Munros, which looks stunning. And if the weather's anything like it was this morning, which it promises to be, we won't have any really bad low-lying cloud, which is good. But magnificent, and I guess we also had the first bit of peat bog trudging under our belts as we trudged across some pretty damp ground. But all in all, on the evening of day one, this is about as near to Scotland perfection as it gets.
And that concludes the first few days on the Rab TGO Challenge 2010, when spirits are high, muscles are toned and ready, and the rucksack is full of shiny new gear. A more detailed account of their crossing with pictures and kit lists, etc., can be found on their blogs. Andy's is andyhowell.info. Shirley's is pwiglet.com. Plus, of course, the website dedicated to the event itself, tgochallenge.co.uk.
Join us next time as the journey across Scotland continues on the TGO Challenge. Thank you for listening to this podcast. To hear more from our extensive free library, please visit the website at theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
You can now follow The Outdoor Station on Facebook, where we chat about each programme we produce, answer questions and discuss future productions. Why not join us there?
This podcast is produced and hosted by theoutdoorstation.co.uk.